Hello and welcome to Improve Your Voice. My name is Darren McStay, and today is a short video where I just wanted to share some ideas with you about how you might find better or different ways to improve your voice yourself. Back when I was 21 years old, I was living in a town called Brighton, and at the time there was no internet radio. The internet wasn't necessarily new, but it was still a lot more infant than it is today. And radio stations generally then worked on airwaves, and so you'd have a radio to pick it up, usually with an aerial. And in France, which was, I don't know how many miles, maybe between 20 and 40 miles away from Brighton, on the other side of the water between UK and France, was a radio station called FIP. That's F-I-P. Now, somebody in Brighton who lived on the top of a hill and who had a big mast, basically a big aerial, was picking up signals from France and sending out the radio station to everyone who lived in Brighton. So if you were in the UK, the only place you would really pick up this radio station was in Brighton. And I remember that word got round that this person was picking up this radio frequency and it was set at this number on the dial. And one by one, gradually, people all around the city started tuning into it. And you know what was so great about this radio station is that they had a motto at the time anyway, that they will never play the same song twice. I loved that. Being someone that grew up in the UK where radio is generally a commercial industry, all the songs you hear, there's playlists, and those playlists are paid for by the stations to take the most popular, like 10 or 20 songs, and just repeat them over and over and over again, which is great for the record companies, and it's great for the artists because then more people are interested in that music, and in those days you'd go out and buy the music still. So that was how money was generated, and so you wouldn't get a huge, broad option. Now, if you think about music, if you could pick any one year in the last 50 years, and just in that 1 year alone, you in your entire lifetime, if you live to the 80 years of age, would never hear every song written that year. That is the extent of music and the music production in the last 50 years. So that's ginormous. And to think that we'll only ever, from 1 week to the next, hear the same 10, 20 songs, and through a lifetime, a small amount, tiny amount. You go to clubs, you're still hearing the same songs from the 50s and 60s as you'll always hear. People at weddings play the same wedding song as everyone else. Not everyone, of course, but you know, the amount of music we listen to is very small. And so to find a radio station whose motto is "we will never play the same song twice" is quite unique. So at the age of 21, I started listening to it. Now, by the age of around 23, 24, it had become very popular, and the pub I worked in at the time started getting the DJs over from France to put on nights. That's how big it had got. And so the DJs come over to the Prince Albert, which was the pub I worked in at the time, and they'd have these amazing nights which are always packed out. It always done really well. The DJs were lovely. They played some amazing tunes. They knew exactly what worked well with each other. And at the time they only had the one channel on the station, and so they'd play such an eclectic mix of songs from drum and bass into classical opera, and then into death metal, then onto some groovy jazz number, some guitar, some electric piano music and synthesizer stuff, then some African drumming. It just went everywhere, yet it worked somehow. Before I go on to the reason for telling you this, I just wanted to say that the person who was putting this radio station around the town or the city at the time had it taken down, and it stopped for about a week, because a week later they managed to get their radio station online, and therefore everyone in the world is able to get it. Of course, I think only the people in France and Brighton started to get it, but word spread, and I think now they've got about 8 different channels for this radio station FIP, and I still listen to them today. They're still going strong, and they're still my favourite radio station I've ever heard. I can honestly say I've never heard the same song played twice. It's possible that different DJs have come in and different channels they might repeat once every blue moon, but really, I've never heard the same song twice, and I've listened now for 23 years. So that's quite something. Now, the point of this was to say that most people listen to commercial radio. The majority of people, it's commercial because most people are listening to it. And they like the songs they hear, not necessarily that they know any different. And this is the same. This is an analogy video, right? This is the same as your voice. What it is, we learn, or we kind of accept what we're given, and we continue to use that which we've grown and adapted through our early life, between the first 7 years of our lives and to however you're old now. Those first 7 years are such a crucial part of our growing that if we don't grow beyond that, then we'll stay pretty much at that level of understanding of the world the rest of our lives. Now, of course, we go to school after that, and we go to college, and some of us go to university and get jobs in different places, and we move around. But the habits that we create when we're really young often get stamped in and settled, and so we just continue doing the same old thing, almost like listening to the same radio station, with hearing the same old songs, and we produce sound the same old way. We use our articulators the same way, our resonators, our body, and over time these things just get worn and used because we're doing the same thing with them. And the reason I wanted to talk about this radio station is because when you understand that there is a world of opportunity, a huge amount of availability to manipulate, to articulate, to change, to add texture, to take things away, to use your whole body in different ways, to see things in different ways. The combinations of variables of using your voice and adapting your voice are so vast that it's really difficult for me to even make sense of it myself, because the body is extremely complicated, and the way we're put together is extremely kind of fine and detailed, and the smallest thing can have a huge impact further down the line. And one of the things I'm always saying to you is about staying consistent. But when I say stay consistent, I mean if you're trying to make changes to your voice, or you're not happy with your voice and you want to do something different, those changes you make have to be consistent. First of all, it's about recognizing that you can make those changes. And so try not to think of your voice the same way if you're trying to change it. Try something new. Try something different. I've got 306 videos. All of them have got basically something different to offer you. That's 306 different things you could get just from me if you were trying to change or manipulate or improve your voice. This video here, which I'd say is very powerful at helping people to find new ways of using their voice, or to think about and feel your voice in ways that could influence change. Of course, it was designed more for voiceover, and subsequently Dungeons and Dragons, the crowd surrounding that have picked it up, and it's become very popular with those who look to make characters for their storytelling. And whatever it is you want to do with your voice, wherever you're going with it, just know that with videos like that and what I do on this channel and with my courses, you have opportunities to explore new areas and to test new waters and to adapt and change and manipulate and articulate and create words, sentences and stories in such a variety and vast different ways that why would you just stay stuck with something that you're not keen on, you don't want, that it just grew by habit without your say-so, when you can. So 2 things. 1, check out the radio station FIP. I highly recommend it. If you're bored of listening to commercial radio, which majority of us are, you just don't realise it, check it out. It might have something that's just gonna spark some inspiration for you. Also, plow through my playlists and my channel and see what you can do. Even if you don't feel you need to, you just don't know what it is yet, you want to change, there's going to be something that's going to give you some inspiration for change. And like I said, the how to create 100 distinctly different voices video is a powerful one. And it has some tools in there that could be very useful for you. And this is what I wanted to talk about. Don't limit yourself. The possibilities for you improving and changing your voice are endless. All you need to do is snap them up and take them and look outside of the box. Thank you for watching. I hope this is useful for you. My name is Darren McStay. This is Improve Your Voice, and until the next time, look after your voice.